She didn't start her story in the glare of a camera. Long before Hollywood scripts and sci-fi fame, Jenette Goldstein grew up in a home where imagination was treated like oxygen, essential, abundant, and everywhere. Born on February 4, 1960 in Los Angeles, California, Jenette came of age in a Jewish family that prized curiosity as much as discipline. Her parents weren't household names, but they filled their house with books, music, and film, turning everyday life into a workshop for wonder. Dinner conversations drifted from art to philosophy, from stories of travel to the meaning of community. In that lovely mix, Jenette learned that identity isn't one note, it's a composition. Her Jewish heritage taught her endurance and empathy. Her city taught her openness and reinvention. The cultural mosaic of Los Angeles surrounded her with accents, cuisines, and characters from every corner of the world. For a child destined to play women from galaxies and centuries apart, it was the perfect training ground. Her parents' passion for travel deepened those lessons. They treated every trip as a classroom, every encounter as an education. Jenette learned to listen first, to notice how people move and express themselves. Those early observations became the backbone of her craft, an instinct to inhabit someone else's world truthfully. That blend of artistic upbringing, cultural curiosity, and emotional intelligence would later define her acting. When she finally stepped onto a set, she wasn't pretending to understand her characters. She did. Jenette's life before fame wasn't just preparation, it was the foundation for a career built on authenticity, empathy, and fearless transformation. Los Angeles in the 1960s and 70s was a living contradiction, sunlit dreams wrapped in smog and soundtracks where glamour met grit on every corner. For Jenette Goldstein, growing up there meant living inside a constantly shifting mosaic of cultures. Her neighborhood echoed with different languages and rhythms, and her schoolmates came from everywhere. At home, she was rooted in a close, knit Jewish household built on tradition and warmth. Outside, the city exposed her to a whirlwind of perspectives. That blend of stability and diversity taught her adaptability, a skill that would one day define her on screen. As a teenager, Jenette's fascination with identity became something more deliberate. She loved how posture could rewrite a person, how clothing could tell an unspoken story. Dressing up wasn't play, it was study. Through costume and expression, she explored what it meant to become someone else. Acting, when she discovered it formally, felt like a continuation of that curiosity. In theater class, she found freedom, a space to feel everything, to test empathy, to live other lives. Teachers saw what audiences would later see. An actor who didn't perform so much as inhabit her characters. Old Hollywood captivated her, not for its sparkle but for its craftsmanship. She admired the transformative courage of performers like Bette Davis, Katharine Hepburn, and Dustin Hoffman, artists who vanished into flawed, complicated roles. They taught her that truth mattered more than perfection. By the time she finished high school, Jenette wasn't chasing stardom. She was chasing mastery. Her path led her to the Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, where method acting demanded total honesty. There, she began refining the instinct born from her multicultural childhood into disciplined artistry, a preparation for a career defined by transformation, resilience, and reinvention. The Strasberg Theater and Film Institute was no ordinary school, it was a crucible. Rooted in the method acting tradition, it asked its students to dig deep, to mine their own emotions and memories until every performance rang with truth. For Jenette Goldstein, this was the kind of challenge she had long been seeking. It wasn't about fame or polish, it was about honesty. Training there was grueling and raw. Exercises demanded emotional exposure, precision, and relentless self-awareness. She learned to study life itself, the way people breathe when they're nervous, how eyes shift when someone lies, how stillness can speak louder than words. These weren't tricks, they were tools of empathy. And though the process could be exhausting, Jenette thrived. She wasn't chasing perfection. She was chasing authenticity. Surrounded by other passionate artists, she discovered the freedom that comes with risk. Instructors pushed her to stop worrying about looking right and instead feel truthfully. That permission to be messy, human, and unguarded became the heartbeat of her craft. It was here she built her artistic foundation. Discipline, endurance, and an unshakable respect for preparation. Then, in her early 20s, came a leap of faith. London. She crossed the Atlantic not for fame but for growth. The city's theater world was everything Los Angeles wasn't: somber, classical, and reverent toward craft. On its small, often underfunded stages, Jenette found what she'd been searching for: pure storytelling. She performed in fringe productions and Shakespearean plays, confronting language and emotion on entirely new levels. Shakespeare taught her precision, the stage taught her presence. Each performance stripped away another layer of pretense, shaping her into a performer who could inhabit any world, gritty, elegant, or alien, with fearless authenticity. Living in London didn't just refine Jenette Goldstein's craft, it transformed her sense of self. As an American actress in Britain's disciplined theater world, she stood out immediately, sometimes to her advantage, sometimes not. But instead of resisting the difference, she embraced it. She studied how British performers built their characters through precision and restraint, then merged that technique with the emotional depth she'd learned in America. The result was a rare blend of vulnerability and control, an acting style that would one day make her unforgettable on screen. To survive between auditions, Jenette took whatever work she could find, waitressing, cafe shifts, odd jobs that kept her afloat while she chased her dream. Those everyday roles became quiet lessons in humanity. She watched people closely, their gestures, their tones, the stories written on their faces. Every shift behind a counter was another masterclass in authenticity. Rejection came often, sometimes cruelly. Casting directors labeled her too tough, too gentle, too something. But Jenette refused to let those words define her. Instead, she built patience, resilience, and faith in her own instincts. She understood that persistence, not luck, was the real currency of survival. Her path was never cinematic or sudden. There were no overnight breakthroughs, no golden shortcuts. What she had was grit, preparation, and a belief that her moment would come, and eventually it did. One afternoon, a casting call crossed her path, searching for a Latina bodybuilder. It sounded absurd. She almost skipped it, but that strange audition would become the turning point of her life. The role that would carve her name into science fiction history. Jenette Goldstein had never been one to back away from the unknown, so when she stumbled upon a casting call for a Latina bodybuilder, her curiosity overpowered her hesitation. It sounded absurd, maybe even a mistake, but she went anyway. At the time, she was a fair-skinned redhead with a slim frame, hardly what the notice described. Still, she walked into that room with quiet confidence, ready to prove that strength had more than one appearance. Inside, the panel, among them director James Cameron and producer Gail Ann Hurd, looked stunned. This was not the person they'd pictured. But Jenette didn't flinch. Instead of trying to mimic what she imagined they wanted, she read the scene with steely conviction. Her delivery wasn't showy, it was grounded, fierce, and real. Cameron's attention sharpened immediately. What she lacked in bulk, she made up for in authenticity and fire. Ironically, Jenette didn't even realize the project was Aliens, the sequel to Ridley Scott's genre-defining Alien. She hadn't grasped that this small audition could rewrite her life. With no pressure and no pretense, she left the room having made a lasting impression. Cameron's vision for the Aliens ensemble was clear. The colonial Marines needed to feel like real soldiers, not actors in costume. Jenette's natural toughness, intensity, and refusal to perform toughness fit perfectly. Despite looking nothing like the original description, she embodied what Cameron needed: truth. She was cast as Private Jenette Vasquez, the fearless Marine whose defiance and heart would become one of the most iconic performances in sci-fi history. What began as a misunderstanding became her breakthrough, and the moment Hollywood discovered the power of her transformation. To fully embody Vasquez, Jenette had to undergo a complete and total transformation. She meticulously darkened her skin with makeup, had her hair cut dramatically short, and embarked on an intense physical training regimen to build both muscle and endurance. The transformation was grueling, but she embraced it with unwavering readiness. She dedicated countless hours in the gym, painstakingly learned how to handle heavy weaponry with proficiency, and trained relentlessly to move with the disciplined gait of a seasoned soldier. The production crew even provided her with a heavy machine gun to practice with, allowing her to acclimate to its significant weight and the precise movements required. Jenette also extensively studied military behavior, how soldiers communicate under pressure, how they stand with an ingrained posture, and how they react instinctively in high-stakes situations. She adamantly did not want Vasquez to be a mere caricature of toughness. She desired her to feel like a real, complex person who had endured and survived genuine battles. Cameron deeply appreciated her seriousness and unwavering commitment. She was entirely unintimidated by the other seasoned actors or the inherently action-heavy scenes. In fact, she notably distinguished herself by how exceptionally prepared she was. When Aliens was finally released in 1986, Vasquez rapidly became one of the most unforgettable characters in the entire film. Jenette's compelling blend of raw toughness and calm, unyielding confidence made her truly indelible. Her now iconic line, "Have you ever been mistaken for a man?" evolved into one of the most frequently quoted phrases in cinematic history. The role showcased not only her undeniable talent, but also her profound fearlessness. She had masterfully turned a casting misunderstanding into one of the most defining and powerful performances in modern science fiction. Before filming officially commenced, James Cameron subjected the entire cast to an intense and rigorous boot camp specifically designed to prepare them for their demanding roles as Marines. He aimed to foster a genuine bond among the actors, mirroring the camaraderie of real soldiers, and to build both their physical and emotional stamina. The comprehensive training was expertly led by real-life military consultants who relentlessly pushed them through grueling drills, challenging obstacle courses, and intricate teamwork exercises. For Jenette, it was simultaneously exhausting and exhilarating. It instilled in her a profound sense of discipline and an unyielding unity with the rest of the cast. Cameron actively encouraged the actors to personalize their gear and to meticulously craft intricate backstories for their respective characters. Jenette famously decorated Vasquez's armor with the Spanish word adios, meaning goodbye, a small yet significant detail that considerably enhanced the character's realism and fatalistic charm. She also ingeniously conceived ways to convey Vasquez's complex personality without relying on dialogue, utilizing subtle posture, piercing facial expressions, and rapid, instinctive reactions. The cast spent arduous weeks building trust, meticulously learning to rely on each other in the same profound way real Marines would in combat. By the time principal photography began, the group genuinely felt like a cohesive and formidable unit. Shooting aliens was undeniably tough, but the extensive preparation paid off exponentially. The film's palpable tension, authentic teamwork, and raw realism stemmed directly from the cast's shared, immersive experience. Jenette more than held her own in scenes alongside seasoned actors, and she excelled even in the most physically demanding action sequences. For an actress who once believed she was auditioning for a small, amusing role, it represented a complete and transformative metamorphosis. A breakthrough that would ultimately make her name recognized around the world. Her commanding performance as Vasquez rendered her unforgettable, but what followed subsequently proved that she was far from a one-role wonder. In fact, she was just getting started. Birth of a sci-fi icon. When Aliens exploded into theaters in 1986, audiences were immediately introduced to Private Jenette Vasquez, a tough, fearless colonial Marine who instantly commanded attention. Portrayed with raw intensity by Jenette Goldstein, Vasquez was not merely another soldier in a science fiction film. She was something profoundly different. She exuded an unparalleled strength, maintained an unflappable calm under immense pressure, and was completely unafraid to fiercely stand her ground. Yet, beneath all the formidable armor and unyielding toughness, there was a quiet, almost understated humanity that elevated her beyond just a fighter. Jenette later revealed that her intention was for Vasquez to feel utterly real, like someone who had endured a hard-lived life and rightfully earned her place among the battle-hardened soldiers. She meticulously studied how real service members moved and spoke, paying close attention to every nuanced detail. She focused intensely on body language, the specific way Vasquez carried her heavy weapon, the way she scanned her surroundings with vigilant intensity, and even the way she sat, a silent testament to her readiness. Every movement felt inherently natural, devoid of artifice. Her calm, focused expression and brief, intense bursts of emotion made the character profoundly believable. When Vasquez allowed herself a rare smile or delivered a dry joke, it felt genuinely earned, not forced or out of place. Her physical transformation was also instrumental in defining the role. With her darkened skin, cropped hair, and visibly muscular build, Jenette completely disappeared into the part. Most viewers had no idea she wasn't Latina until years later. What truly made Vasquez memorable wasn't solely her distinctive look. It was the way she embodied an unwavering resilience and an indomitable courage. She was groundbreaking as one of the first female action characters in sci-fi who didn't rely on glamour or conventional romance to stand out. She belonged on that perilous battlefield as much as any man. Upon its release, Vasquez emerged as one of Aliens' most exhilarating surprises. Critics and fans alike showered Jenette Goldstein's performance with praise for its sheer intensity and stark realism. She wasn't playing a mere sidekick or a background character. She was an absolutely vital, integral part of the Marine unit. Reviewers noted how she provided the movie with crucial emotional balance. Even though Sigourney Weaver's Ripley was undeniably the lead, Vasquez brought a distinct kind of power, a grounded, formidable physical presence that added significant weight and authenticity to the team's chemistry. Audiences connected with Vasquez instantly and profoundly. Many fans viewed her as a powerful symbol of strength and bravery. She broke the mold of the usual female characters Hollywood typically offered at the time. She didn't scream in terror or passively wait to be rescued. She fought back, and she fought with ferocious determination. She wielded a massive gun, confronted grotesque monsters head-on, and ultimately sacrificed herself rather than ever backing down. For countless viewers, that unyielding spirit made her truly unforgettable. Over time, however, discussions surrounding the role became more complex and nuanced. Some individuals began to question the casting choice, pointing out that Jenette Goldstein, a white Jewish actress, was portraying a Latina character. In the 1980s, Hollywood frequently employed makeup and affected accents to create ethnic roles, rather than prioritizing the hiring of actors from those specific backgrounds. Jenette herself later spoke openly and candidly about the subject. She explained that, at the time, she hadn't given much thought to the cultural aspect, approaching Vasquez purely as a character, not a stereotype. However, as crucial conversations about representation and inclusivity gained momentum in subsequent years, she openly acknowledged the profound importance of more accurate and diverse casting practices. Despite this evolving controversy, most critics unequivocally agree that her performance itself was honest, respectful, and deeply compelling. She did not portray Vasquez as a joke or a crude caricature. Instead, she depicted her as a real, multi-layered person, a soldier defined by her exceptional skill, unwavering courage, and fierce loyalty. That profound sincerity is a significant part of why Vasquez remains an enduring icon decades later. People may continue to debate the casting, but very few question the indelible impact of the character on audiences worldwide. Vasquez cemented Jenette Goldstein's status as a cult favorite, and what came next definitively proved that she possessed an extraordinary ability to keep transforming, again and again, both on screen and far beyond the confines of the film world. From Cameron's muse to Hollywood's specialist after Aliens achieved monumental success, Jenette Goldstein solidified her place among director James Cameron's highly trusted ensemble of actors. Performers he would consistently bring back for a variety of roles across different projects. Cameron deeply valued actors who demonstrated complete commitment, could expertly handle demanding shoots, and possessed the rare ability to utterly disappear into their characters. Jenette perfectly fit this description. Her unwavering professionalism, intense focus, and impressive range established her as one of his most reliable and cherished collaborators. Her next significant appearance came in Near Dark, a critically acclaimed horror film directed by Catherine Bigelow, who was married to Cameron at the time. Although not directed by Cameron himself, Near Dark featured several Aliens cast members, including the iconic Bill Paxton and the formidable Lance Henriksen. Cameron lent his support to the film behind the scenes, and it bore the same gritty tone and raw energy that he so admired. Cameron later cast Jenette once again in Terminator 2: Judgment Day, one of the biggest and most groundbreaking action movies of the decade. In it, she had a small but incredibly memorable role as Janelle Voight, the stoic foster mother of the young John Connor. Working repeatedly with Cameron provided Jenette with a profound sense of creative stability. He intuitively understood her unique strengths, and she, in turn, deeply comprehended his distinct approach to storytelling. Each collaboration pushed her into exciting new territory, whether it was the visceral horror of Aliens, the intricate sci-fi of Terminator 2, or the intense action of their shared projects. She wasn't a conventional movie star in the traditional sense, but she possessed something far more enduring: a sterling reputation for being fearless, authentic, and utterly compelling in any role she undertook. Jenette's post-Aliens career vividly demonstrated that she was not limited to one specific type of part. She moved with impressive fluidity between various film genres, proving her remarkable adaptability to almost any story or tone. After Near Dark, she continued to seek out and embrace roles that masterfully blended toughness with underlying complexity. Throughout the late 1980s and 1990s, Jenette appeared in a diverse array of projects including thrilling crime dramas, lighthearted comedies, and even compelling television shows. She frequently took on memorable guest roles in series that required strong, grounded supporting characters, often imbuing even brief appearances with a striking sense of realism. She also began to explore stunt work and voice acting, steadily expanding her skills behind the scenes. Her unwavering willingness to embrace any challenge ensured that she remained steadily employed even when the roles weren't particularly glamorous or high profile. By the early 2000s, Jenette had meticulously built a formidable filmography filled with an array of memorable supporting performances. She had become that rare kind of actor who could elevate any scene, making it instantly more believable and impactful. Directors deeply appreciated her unwavering professionalism, and fans admired her remarkable ability to stand out, even in fleeting appearances. She had skillfully carved out a distinctive niche in Hollywood where raw skill and authentic talent mattered far more than fleeting fame. Despite her undeniable versatility, Jenette often found herself grappling with typecasting. Hollywood frequently perceived her as the quintessential go-to performer for tough, intense, or ethnically ambiguous characters. After the monumental success of Vasquez, many casting directors consistently offered her roles that fit a similar mold: soldiers, police officers, or women with hard, uncompromising edges. Some even sought for her to play other ethnicities, presuming she could convincingly pass for various backgrounds. While this pervasive typecasting undoubtedly limited certain opportunities, Jenette ingeniously found a way to make it work to her advantage. She intuitively understood that every role, even those initially built on stereotypical foundations, could be profoundly deepened and enriched through a dedicated performance. She focused intently on unearthing the inherent truth in each character, rather than allowing herself to be consumed by concerns about her public image. This nuanced approach helped her avoid becoming a mere cliché. Instead, she infused every role, whether a vampire, a cop, or a foster mother, with dignity, meticulous detail, and genuine humanity. Jenette's career during these years was a mirror reflecting her own inherent resilience. She was never afraid of being different, and she never measured success by the sheer size of a role. Her unwavering dedication to realism and emotional honesty made her an incredibly reliable and impactful presence in every film she graced. She became one of those rare performers who possessed the power to elevate an entire scene simply by her presence alone. Her journey through Hollywood wasn't always easy or straightforward, but it was remarkably steady and purposeful, and soon, she would discover an entirely new way to reinvent herself, far beyond the conventional confines of the film world. Jenette Brass, a new chapter. After years of dedicated work in Hollywood as a respected character actress, Jenette Goldstein began confronting a deeply personal and physical problem that had absolutely nothing to do with scripts or auditions. It was an issue that many women could profoundly relate to. She simply could not find bras that fit her properly. With her athletic build and fuller bust, nothing available in regular lingerie stores seemed to be designed to accommodate her unique shape. She painstakingly tried department stores, specialized boutiques, and even expensive designer brands, but the results were consistently the same: uncomfortable straps, inadequate support, and styles that simply did not conform to her body. This persistent frustration sparked a new entrepreneurial vision within her. In 2005, Jenette Goldstein courageously opened Jenette Brass, a bespoke boutique located in the heart of Beverly Hills, California. From the very inception, she knew with unwavering conviction that it would be fundamentally unlike typical lingerie shops. There would be no flashy, over-the-top branding, no unrealistic mannequins promoting unattainable ideals, and absolutely no pressure for women to conform to a specific, narrow image. Instead, it was meticulously conceived to be a welcoming sanctuary where women of all ages, sizes, and diverse backgrounds could discover personalized fittings, genuine support, and, most importantly, dignity. The core concept was elegantly simple yet profoundly powerful: real experts meticulously fitting real women. Jenette built her entire business on the profound belief that the vast majority of women had never truly experienced a proper bra fitting in their entire lives. To address this pervasive issue, she hired highly trained fitters and personally immersed herself in learning the intricate technical side of the business. Mastering band sizes, understanding complex cup structures, identifying various breast shapes, and comprehending the nuances of support engineering. Her approach was not about aggressively selling products, it was about empathetically solving a widespread problem. Women were not merely customers, they were unique individuals who deserved comfort, respect, and a genuine understanding of their needs. As the business steadily grew, Jenette began to speak openly and passionately about crucial topics such as body acceptance, self-confidence, and the immense pressure women frequently face regarding their appearance. She gave interviews not in her capacity as an actress, but as a dedicated businesswoman focused on addressing common, everyday challenges. She stated unequivocally that she never opened her store to chase trends or fleeting fads. She opened it because she genuinely believed women deserved better. She spoke eloquently about how society often subtly teaches women to conceal their discomfort, leading many to live for years assuming that pain from ill-fitting clothing was a normal, unavoidable part of life. Jenette vehemently challenged that deeply ingrained mindset, asserting that comfort should never be considered a luxury, but rather an absolute standard for every woman. She also adamantly rejected the notion that age or natural body changes diminish a woman's inherent worth. Whether someone was 20 or 70, small, busted, or full-figured, they unequivocally deserved to feel supported, comfortable, and confident. Her store rapidly evolved beyond being just a lingerie boutique. It transformed into a vital space for education and empowerment. Her skilled fitters took the necessary time to meticulously explain sizing principles, optimal posture, and proper garment care. Women departed not only with perfectly fitting bras but also with a significantly enhanced understanding of their own bodies. Jenette frequently articulated that the ultimate goal wasn't to make women look fundamentally different, but rather to help them feel completely at ease and truly comfortable in who they already were. Family life and partnership. Jenette Goldstein has always maintained a steadfast commitment to keeping her private life meticulously shielded from the relentless glare of the public spotlight. She profoundly values quietude and a sense of normalcy when she is not actively immersed in her demanding film roles. While she meticulously built a formidable public profile as both an acclaimed actress and a successful entrepreneur, she intentionally ensured that her family life remained a distinctly separate and sacred sphere. Over time, she cultivated a loving home with her partner and consciously redirected many of her priorities towards family, shifting away from the constant, demanding pace of Hollywood. Motherhood played an immensely significant part in this profound reorientation. Jenette has spoken in various interviews about how becoming a mother irrevocably altered her perspective on work, time, and the very definition of success. Instead of tirelessly chasing new roles or vying for bigger parts, she thoughtfully chose roles and work opportunities that allowed ample space for her cherished home life. This deliberate step back from the intensity of constant acting wasn't a retreat driven by defeat. Rather, it was a conscious, empowered decision to cultivate greater balance and deeper meaning in her life. For someone renowned for portraying incredibly strong and intense screen characters, her real-life choice to prioritize family reveals a different, equally powerful kind of strength: the unwavering will to live a life entirely on her own terms, a life not dictated by the often insatiable demands of the entertainment industry. Her consistent preference has always been to meticulously keep her family entirely out of the public eye. In stark contrast to her on-screen personas, which were frequently bold, emotionally exposed, and inherently high-profile, her real life has consistently remained low-key and understated. She rarely grants interviews that delve into personal details, and her occasional social media posts tend to offer only brief, warmly evocative glimpses of her life rather than sharing deeply personal stories. This deliberate contrast between Jenette, the celebrated actress and entrepreneur, and Jenette, the private individual at home, is entirely purposeful. She desires her home to remain her sanctuary, her refuge, not merely an extension or reflection of her public roles. By making family a paramount priority, Jenette also models a profound kind of authenticity. She demonstrates that the person behind the iconic Private Vasquez, the savvy business owner, the recognizable public face, possesses genuine relationships, comforting routines, and deeply held values that matter profoundly to her. This aspect of her life may not be highly publicized or sensationalized, but it is undeniably central to how she defines herself and experiences genuine fulfillment. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment about your favorite Jenette Goldstein role.